I almost did not make this video. It's been a rough week. I've been sick. I lost my voice. I'm behind on editing, and I just wasn't able to do what I normally do before making these episodes. Usually I do a lot of research, a lot of preparation. You notice I don't even have my leather notebook on me. Normally I have all kinds of notes, but today I don't have anything except a cup of tea with honey, which is keeping me mostly able to speak. And I really thought about not releasing a video this week because I want to meet a certain standard. I want y'all to know that when I put something out, it's something I believe in and something I've put a lot of thought into, and that hopefully will mean something to you and resonate with you. But then I thought about some of the things that I have been saying and working on lately, things we've been talking about in the Rotten Woods community, and I decided that I did have something to say this week, and more importantly, I wanted to use this opportunity to practice what I preach. So let's take a deep breath. You've made it to the Rotten Woods, and so did I. I've been inside a lot the last few days, and I am happy to be outdoors. It is a beautiful East Tennessee spring day, and I'm out here today for one very specific reason. It's something we've been talking about over at rottenwoods.com, and that is showing up and the power of showing up and allowing ourselves to actually view the small things as wins. There's a part of me right now that is saying that this episode is not up to my usual standards. I don't feel the best. I haven't done in-depth research on a topic, and so I might as well not even do it. But the truth is that I still have something to say. These woods are still here. It is a beautiful day to be outside, and just like showing up to my writing is important, even on days when it feels hard, even on days when I'm not writing 1,000 words. Showing up here every week is important. If meeting me in these woods and talking about writing matters to one person, then I need to show up for that person. And the truth is that these Rotten Woods episodes are part of my writing practice. Every time I sit down in these woods to talk to y'all about writing, it keeps me connected to my own writing, to my own story. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And we know that rationally, because when we wait for perfection, what all are we sacrificing? We're sacrificing progress that can add up over the days when it wasn't perfect, when it didn't come naturally. We're sacrificing a connection to our story, to our work. If we just don't try on the days that it feels hard, then we sit down on a day that could be amazing, but we have to spend an hour just getting back into our story, reorienting ourselves, reconnecting to our characters, to our plot. And by waiting for perfection, by waiting for the days when it feels easy, we're creating a world where messy work and messy progress is not valued. And I am learning through my writing, through this podcast, that messy, imperfect journey is the most important part of the whole thing. Those are the moments where we learn who we are and what we really want, what's important to us. Those are the moments where we make connections that we otherwise wouldn't have seen. And y'all, I don't know if this episode is gonna be good or bad, but I want this to exist as a moment where I could have stayed inside. I could have chosen to put this off, to wait until next week when I could show up exactly as I wanted to. But instead, I'm here. One thing I've learned as an editor is that there's no such thing as perfection. Every time I evaluate a manuscript, every time I suggest a change, I'm weighing out the pros and the cons. If you spend time developing this character, then that's page space you can't allocate to world building, to a subplot. Voice and concision are always at odds. Sometimes you sacrifice concision or even grammatical correctness for voice, and sometimes it's not worth the trade-off. So why is it that even I still strive for this perfection that I know doesn't exist, especially in writing, because there we get to edit. We aren't stuck with our first draft. We can change it as many times as we want. Why are we so hesitant to show our work to other people before it is completely polished and beautiful? Why are we hesitant to share our outlines with people who can help us make them better? The mess is part of the process, and it's an amazing, beautiful part. I'm looking around these woods right now, seeing the new leaves sprouting on the trees. The ground is still covered in dry leaves. It's not the full green of summer, but it is lovely in the transition. We can see this in the world around us. We can see this in other people's work, but it's so hard to see and appreciate in our own work. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at something you've written that you see as unfinished, unpolished, imperfect. And before you edit, before you start making it better, turn it into something that you think is finished or publication ready, I want you to just try to appreciate it for what it is, for this moment, for it being something that you have created that is messy and imperfect and maybe closer to you than it will be when it's complete. Appreciate it for being an expression of who you are and where you are in that moment. Y'all, our writing is a lot like these videos for me in that it is a moment in time. This is me on this day, in this place, feeling off, feeling tired, but still here and still enjoying this time and grateful for the opportunity to be sitting here in the woods talking to y'all. Our writing is the same, even if it's something that never sees the light of day, even if it's something that we look at with kind of a scoff and a smile and think, that wasn't my best work. Those words represent a moment in time, a moment in our life, and they have value just for existing. That can be hard when we contextualize our work within our larger goals. When we think about everything we want to accomplish, the people we want to reach, we want all these readers to feel and appreciate our stories. We want to be represented and published and win awards and build a legacy. And all of these things are worth striving for. But within these things, we can lose sight of the bigger picture and the smaller moments. Why do we write to begin with? What is it about writing that brings us joy? And how can we appreciate every moment, every time we get to sit down to write? Every page and every word that will, over time, lead us somewhere new. Those old pages are still important, and the unseen work can be the most valuable. So y'all, no matter how many views this video gets, I showed up today, and I'm glad that I did. Yes, it was hard. Yes, part of me did not want to walk outside today. Part of me wanted to curl up on the couch and drink my tea, but the truth is I needed to be outside today. And part of me doesn't want to write today. Part of me does not want to put pen to paper because it sounds hard, but the truth is I need to. I'll feel better after I write, even if it's only one sentence. It still counts. And on the days when it feels hard, on the days you have other things going on, other things on your mind, or you just don't feel like it, those are the days when it matters the most. And not because of what you produce, not because you're working towards your word count goals. Even if I throw away every word that I write today, it will still matter. It will still have been important. Those words aren't for nothing. They are still an important part of my work, of my journey. They are still evidence that I am building something, not for other people, but for me. Thank you for showing up to the woods today. If this episode gave you something you need, if it made you feel better about showing up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like you're making progress, tell me in the comments. Your comments keep me showing up on days when it feels like I'm just out here talking to myself. One comment letting me know that my words resonated, that I helped you feel closer to your writing practice. That is what keeps me going and keeps me doing this, even on days when I need tea and honey to keep my voice going. Thank you for being in the woods with me. Thank you for making this a place where we can write together and learn together. When you write today, whether it's a big drafting session or whether you just take a walk and think about your story, I hope you appreciate it for what it is, for a moment in your life, in your story, in your writing journey, and know that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything to anyone except you. Showing up counts. I hope you're proud of yourself for showing up for your writing. I hope you keep doing that day after day, giving yourself grace when it's hard, and celebrating the hard days just as much as the easy days. Thanks for being here with me.